Hey friends, welcome back to Fifth Road Tarot. I am here with your weekly reading, reading for the week of July 25th. Um, yeah, um, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm kind of trying to focus and figure out how to go into this reading because yes, I've been studying the astrological side of stuff. Um, but also, I've uncovered a few things like, you know how when you watch, I don't know, maybe you watch like a YouTube video, or um, maybe if you're someone who is on social media and you get kind of drawn into just going into a rabbit hole about a certain topic, maybe that's just me. But this particular line of study, to me, I've been doing a lot of correlation kind of uh, discovery. I don't know how to say it, but essentially, like, I'm studying tarot in addition to uh, Jungian analysis personally, just as, for myself, not professionally or um, for like a certificate or a degree. Um, but how it all comes back through tarot. And of course, a lot of this has revolved around the dark goddess, the dark feminine, and the how that correlates to what's going on today. So that's pretty much the rabbit hole that I've gone down with today because of the phase of the moon that we're in and the fact that I've got, of course, still studying and reading Mysteries of the Dark Moon by Demetra George. I'm absolutely taking my time on this. Usually I would just zip through, but because this is a lot to focus on and digest at the same time, it's just really important for me to take it slowly, which is new for me. So I'm gonna put this down. I've also been reading another book by a really good author for quite a while, and this again is not something that is digested overnight, or it could be a quick read, but digesting it is like a whole nother thing. So Marion, Woodman, and Elinor Dickson's Dancing in the Flames, The Dark Goddess and the Transformation of Consciousness. It's a really good book. And of course, there are some other things that I've been reading. A Pregnant Virgin, A Process of Psychological Transformation by Marion Woodman. And of course, I'm constantly flipping through Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. Myths and Stories of the Wild Woman Archetype. And the latest one that I've pulled out for this reading is Juliet Diaz's Witchery, Embrace the Witch Within. So that's also been an important one and something I'm going to mention as we go through the day. But I wanted to introduce some of the books that I've been reading in order to get some of the material that I will talk about today. Okay, so a few notes, and I'm going to caveat with if you are new to astrology or tarot or this channel, I see I talk a lot about masculine and feminine in a binary way. However, I'm not talking about the masculine and feminine externally. I'm talking about the fact that we possess both of those energies in all of us. We in psychological terms, in spiritual terms, and We hold the energies of masculine and feminine in our bodies. So, because, I mean, if you think about it, how did you come to be? You came to be through, sperm and, an egg coming together. Sperm comes from the masculine, egg comes from the feminine, and you're created. So, I mean, you've got to have both of those things within you. I'm just saying. So, um, so let's go into it. The energies of masculine and feminine, just as a caveat. Astrological map of the week. At this moment, the moon is in Libra. The sun has gone into Leo, so we're in Leo season. Yay, Leo. Yeah. Mercury is in Cancer, Venus is in Gemini, and Mars is in Aries. I meant to actually do some deeper, like a deeper look using this horoscope maker and interpreter to really look at what this means for us, especially with, let's look at the sun in Leo. Okay, the sun in Leo. And the sun in Leo is essentially the sun is now in its home. So in Leo, the sun gives an active mind, good nature, generosity, many friends, is a natural leader, ambitious, independent, determined, persistent, industrious, honest, and very conscientious, philosophical, and philanthropic. Quickly angered but quickly appeased, has a sunny disposition, is frank, outspoken, candid, forceful, and greatly appreciates affection, in which he or she is usually ardent and sincere, magnetic, intuitive, and inventive, fond of children, sports, drama, honors, and high office. So the sun is the planetary ruler of the sign Leo. Let's see if I pull out the sun card here. What will we see? And of course, these are my homemade cards. Yeah. So the sun card is actually represented by the sun in tarot. This is 19. 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 in numerology is, it's completion phase. Well, if we add it up, it actually equals 1. So it's kind of the beginning of something too. But of course, in tarot, the sun is harmony. It's beyond duality. So it's the joining of light and dark. It's day, happiness, content, being content, fortunate marriage, clarity, poetry, prophecy, shamanic dreaming, healing, good health, outward, bright, exuberant, and it is the self as a flexible process. So just wanted to point that out. Let's see, moon in Libra. Actually, let's look at Mars since it's here. So Mars is currently in Aries, and actually it is also in its home right now, but it will be going retrograde soon, which I've been trying to figure out. But Mars in Aries gives force, positivity, self-assurance, and this is like, especially if your native Mars is in Aries, your natal Mars is in Aries, and you'd have to look at your birth chart for that. So yeah, Mars in Aries gives force, positivity, self-assurance, combativeness, activity, industry, enterprise, originality, and mechanical ability. The native is enthusiastic, electric, and inspiring, philosophic and idealistic in spirit, so frank and free that he or she usually meets with little success in concealing anything, very independent and often acts hastily and forcefully on impulse, possesses a keen sense of enjoyment. My Mars is in Aries. A love for sport, pleasure, and adventure. I've actually been sitting here working on my mountain bike for most of yesterday. I just need to clean it off. Anyway, has a strong dislike for all bonds, limitations, and restrictions, preferring to be free to explore and pioneer into all new lines of thought and activity. Self-interest is strong, and the native will usually push his or her affairs forward with very little outside encouragement, sometimes without any, and in the face of discouragement. Mars in Aries increases the vitality, but makes the native subject to danger by fire, surgical operations, fevers, inflammatory and mental complaints, accidents, wounds, and scalds. If Mars is afflicted, it gives a hasty temper and trouble through the head, face, and eyes. It usually gives a mark or scar of some kind on the head or face. Wow. I should probably look at when the last time Mars was in Aries, what happened. That'd be interesting. Okay, I just wanted to do that really quickly. So let's talk about notes from the week. Things, when I say notes from the week, things that I have been noticing as an empath and someone who is intuitive, which we all are. Just wanted to share a little bit of what I experienced. I actually got a really strong message of the word around the word Sierra or Sienna. It could be that this is someone's name, but I got a very strong sense of needing like protection around Sierra or Sienna, or so if you are watching this channel and you know a Sierra or a Sienna, I don't know, I guess kind of keep a heads up around that person. Not that they need protection. No, not that you need protection from them, but they need protection. So just FYI. I also have had really big kind of a split feeling of being not only like this mother-daughter energy. So I've been getting a lot of like Athena and Medusa, Demeter and Persephone, and also being the observer of those two energies within me. So it was kind of like mother-daughter, but also as the crone, as the observer, as someone who was like pushing that energy, pushing that. Okay, so let's go into the moon lunation phases. We are currently in the crescent phase. So you might notice yourself wanting to do something differently, or you are preparing yourself for something new. And the energy that you're shifting is purposely shifting. So you might want to journal about, we're also going to go into the first quarter moon by the time I do the reading next week. And the first quarter is the something new and the shift are becoming clearer. So you might want to journal about what is taking shape now. What are you noticing? Maybe meditate before doing that journaling session. The pagan holiday of Lammas is coming on August 1st. That's where I learned a little bit more about it in Juliet Diaz's Witchery, Embrace the Witch Within. And that is celebrating the first harvest of the year, the grain harvest. My personal note was that, maybe this is like, okay, so my personal note on this was an understanding that if we look at the year in terms of the feminine, this would be the part of the year where we start moving into the phase of being a crone as a feminine, as like our feminine energy, or the time of the year. So we've got 3 phases of the feminine. We have the virgin or the maiden, the mother, and the crone. So the crone, I'll get into that a little bit more, but this should be a time of understanding how to move into that crone energy, right? To move into that understanding, ask yourself, how do we honor and integrate the wisdom of the darkness, the wisdom of our shadow? So that takes very deep introspection, and it is not easy. It is not easy work. Shadow work, going into the depths of yourself, not easy work, but fruitful once you do it. In order to have what we need, what must we be? That's another question you can ask yourself. And how do we align to that? So, and Lamas is the goddess as the maturing matron. She says matron. Demetra Joy says matron. I started reading it as crone. And so, how do we open ourselves up to crone energy? This is essentially asking the feminine parts of ourselves to receive, to become that conscious, we need to become that conscious feminine container, per Marion Woodman, so that we can receive the spirit of the crone within us, the spirit of Sophia, Sophia being knowledge, to really get into that examining the conscious feminine behavior container. Think about what you have been disillusioned about, or what you have projected onto others in order for them to be something so that you did not have to be something that you should have been. That is the entry point to the conscious feminine. What have you been disillusioned about, and what have you projected? Yeah, not easy. So, are you strong enough to allow the goddess or crone into consciousness? You must stand before the feminine mystery of life and death. And that is basically, you know, I know I'm getting lost in my words. I'm getting ahead of myself. But basically asking yourself, are you strong enough to allow the goddess as crone to enter into your consciousness? So let's talk about the crone. The crone is a wise woman, healer, and transformer who has, in the patriarchal movement of religion and culture and logic and all that stuff, has been completely dismissed from our, from our policies, from our culture, all of that. So when we think of wise women, healer, and transformer, let's look back at witches, right? So witches were, when there was all this movement of Christianity through Europe, many women that embraced this witchery, right, were either burned at the stake, drowned, killed, because they were wise women, because they were healers, because they had the ability to transform things. So, this all is kind of coming into play here, right? When we look at what's happening, what's going on with our world right now, we're doing a lot of understanding of that wise woman, that healer, and that transformer within, and we're really looking at our culture and how things have been moving and changing. And really, the crone is the wise woman, so she's able to look at all this and say, oh, you all still believe that. You all still believe that there are only two sexes. You all still believe in duality. You all still believe, that's what the crone does, is she laughs at your patriarchal logic. And so The crone in the woman is the part of her psyche that is not identified with any relationship nor confined by any bond. And that quote is from Marion Woodman. So I have talked for about 20 minutes now. Let me go ahead and get into the reading, and let's see what you've got coming ahead for the week. All right. Which deck do I want to use? I think I'll use the Rider-Waite deck today. Yes, indeedy. Okay. I call on my enlightened and ascended ancestors to come into this reading with some guidance for the collective for the week of July 25th, 2020. I call on my divine masters and teachers to come into this reading with some guidance for the collective for the week of July 25th, 2020. I call on the spirit of the elements of air, water, fire, and earth to come into this reading with a message for the collective for the week of July 25th, 2020. Oh, come on in there. All right. Last but not least, I call on the fifth spirit, the higher self, the self that is connected to all universal truth, to come into this reading with some guidance for the collective for the week of July 25th, 2020. Thank you so much, Spirit. Okay, so let's get into this. Spirit, do you have any guidance for the collective for the week? Thank you, Spirit. For the week of July 25th. Thank you, Spirit. Oh, wow. Do you have any guidance for the collective for the week of July 25th, 2020? Thank you so much, Spirit. Thank you. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Magicians. So let me go ahead and lay these out in the order that they came out. Okay. Wow. So the last card that came out was the Moon. Make sure you can see that. I thought that was the Sun that came out. But it's still interesting. So the first card out that we have is the Eight of Pentacles. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles, the Ten of Cups, the Four of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, and last but not least, the Moon card. Okay. So let me take a quick look here. We've got the Queen and the Knight of Pentacles out on the board. We have one major arcana card, the Moon. The Magician is on the bottom of the deck. So it's almost like this is you know how there's this feeling of anticipation and planning, and you've planned for so much, and you've gotten everything together that you thought you needed, and everything is on the calendar. This is kind of one of those weeks of like, okay, everything that I've planned and put in into place to happen is happening this week. So um, it's almost like you knew this was stuff that was going to happen. And so there's no real, I won't say excitement for the week, but it could be that it ends in something unexpected happening. So let's get into it. We've got the Eight of Pentacles here. And of course, you see the man here creating something. You've got a process of how you create something down. So you know how to make here, you know how to make money, you know how to make resources, you know how to bring things into manifestation, you know how to manifest what you need. You have a process down, right? And so you end up, you know, this Queen of Pentacles. Now, of course, again, I caveat by, this is a queen. Could be represented by, it could be represented by a masculine or feminine. This could be a person in your life, or this could be you. But the Queen of Pentacles is someone who not only understands how to, and I've used this description before, but she knows how to go out, make the money, bring it home, and take care of home. So, what was that song? Go out and make the bacon and then bring it home and fry it up. So that's essentially the Queen of Pentacles. She is nurturing and able to have this role of, mother of pentacles, but also mother of people, right? Nurturing, caring, knows how to grow things. And so then we come to the Ten of Cups, and the Ten of Cups is about emotions, feelings, and because it's the Ten of Cups, this is the pinnacle of this cup energy. Ten of Cups is emotional fulfillment. So it looks as if this Queen of Pentacles, who has, in this vibe of making money, has reached a level of emotional fulfillment, has sort of it's not so much a control, but that expectation that has led to this feeling of Ten of Cups, this fulfillment. And so here we have the Four of Wands. This could be a celebration of some sort. Four of Wands to me represents marriage, but it can also represent any kind of celebration that might be taking place. Maybe someone gets engaged. Maybe, you're buying a house. Maybe you're, it could be all of these things that you are coming together and celebrating, because this is, but to me, this is definitely like the marriage card, stability, home. Could be something in the fourth house, but because this is also, there's this emotional fulfillment with this, it's really weird. Okay, so it's really weird. There's emotional fulfillment here and something is happening, right? But it's almost as if there's kind of this, you're more emotionally fulfilled than you are, excited about this marriage or celebration. But it doesn't matter because you're fulfilled. This is basically, this is a formality. That's what this feels like. You're more focused on your fulfillment than you are on making anything formal, even though the formality is happening, right? So then we have the Knight of Pentacles. You know what this could also be, because we're kind of like on lockdown, pandemic, blah, blah, blah. This could also be that the celebration that you're having is not as big as you wanted, but you're having it, right? Because look at these people are way out in the distance, right? Physically distance social gathering. There you go. That's what I'm seeing. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles here. So the Knight of Pentacles is kind of facing away from this. And I see this as being more of, there's something new coming to you. There's another offer coming to you, and it's coming very slowly. And even though you've already been kind of independently in this phase of Queen of Pentacles and this Eight of Pentacles, and you know how to do it, there's something else that's coming in. So there might be another job offer that's coming. There might be another opportunity to live in another house. There might be, there's just something else that's coming. And this is where we see, because the Knight of Pentacles. Hi everyone, sorry about that. I got cut off, so I'll have to merge the videos as best I can. So the last card we have out is the Moon card, and the Moon card is, to me, represents the feminine, the hidden self. And I'll go ahead and I'll pull out the Moon card from my kind of helper card here, helper deck, so that we can get a really in-depth understanding. So the Moon is and it's interesting that I just talked about the Sun card, and now we have the Moon card coming up. And the Moon is the number 18 card, and this is the value of confusion. So this meaning comes from Jessica Dore's Tarot 101 workshop, I believe. But this is just one of the meanings that I have on this card so far. So if we think about the Moon, we think about the value of confusion, shadow, and the parts of ourselves that we have rejected. And so that's, again, when I talk about doing the shadow work, right? This is what the Moon is going to bring up this week. And again, this is free will. If this doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. There are other tarot readers out there on YouTube that you might resonate with, and that's totally fine. If this, but if there are parts that do speak to you, please, I welcome you to, look into those parts. So this is saying that something unknown is coming, and it might actually speak to the part of yourself that you have rejected, and it might, but there's value in that. It's according to the meaning on this card with the Moon. Now, for me, the Moon card is also about our intuition, and it's also about, it really is talking about the mystery. So we could be looking at the mystery of the feminine and really questioning, everything that has come before it, or everything that has come before it is now culminating into this new space of, as you can see in this card, there's like this lobster that is kind of coming out of the water. There's a pathway through these two towers that go into kind of the unknown. There's a domesticated dog and a wild dog here on one side. So there's a lot of unknowns here, a lot of unknowns in this space. But it's also a sense of, when we talk about the Crone energy, it's also that space of not being tied down by anything. Because either one of these creatures can, go in any direction they want to go in, but they chose to come look at the Moon. Wow. So yeah, this is honestly a little bit of where I see that Crone energy coming forward. We've gone through, our spring, we've gone through our harvest. We're at our first harvest of the year, and now we're moving into this very unknown part of the year. And of course, at the bottom is the Magician. This represents to me, the divine masculine. And the divine masculine is probably going through this process of, wow, what am I? I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was going in the right direction. And really, it's moving into this mystery, this feminine mystery. So it could be that there's this manifestation, right? Because the Magician is also about manifestation. What are we now bringing down to earth? And that also could be this feminine, the lunar aspects and ideas of this mystery of the feminine down to earth and back into our culture. Because this process here could also be a woman who has moved through, a feminine who has moved through all of these expected cycles of the self, only to now be in a space of, wow, what is next? What comes, what first comes love, then comes the marriage, then comes the baby and the baby carriage, but what comes after that, right? So it could be that someone is facing a new phase in their life unexpectedly, not like thinking that everything was going to be hunky-dory after a certain phase, and really the mystery has only just begun. Now, and there's also a correlation between once I thought about that little ditty of first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes baby, and so if you think about how the feminine, like the story behind the story of, what happened when Sleeping Beauty was awakened by her prince, and then they got married. Okay, then what? What happened when she became like an old woman, and he was, this guy that was, had been, doing all this stuff. Like, were they the same people as they were when they started, or are they both moving into a new phase of understanding themselves and each other, right? Yeah. So the fairy tales don't end with marriage. That's what this reading is. Holy crap. The fairy tale doesn't end in just marriage. It ends somewhere else. And there's a mystery there, right? And I think that's the thing that's coming into our culture. If we look at this as on a broad level, we are moving into an understanding that there is more to life than this patriarchal nonsense that we've been putting ourselves through. There is more to life. There is more to life than the nonsense that we've been putting ourselves through. And that is the wisdom of the Crone energy. So I want to look at, I know I've talked about Crone before, but I do want to get an idea of what archetype that could be coming through in this reading, or the guidance that could be needed for this reading. This is kind of a difficult read, but it's very interesting. Very interesting. First comes love, then comes marriage. Then comes the baby and the baby carriage, but then what comes after that, right? What no one talks about that. No one acknowledges that. Does our culture acknowledge that? Do we just put our old folks, in a home and then just say, okay, society no longer needs you, even though, they do, right? Okay, Spirit, can you give us some guidance? Oh no, that's too many cards, Spirit. Can you give us some guidance for this reading? An archetype that might help guide us. Spirit, can you give us a card for this reading? Yeah, for the collect. Really? Okay, that's a lot of cards. So many cards. No, I need one card, really, Spirit, please. Just one card. One card, please. For the collective. This popped. Of course it popped. Of course it popped. The Crone, guys. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I asked. All right, let me get the book. Now we'll read it again. I'll be back. Okay. I'm pretty sure I read this already, but so the Crone has come back up again. Let's see. The Crone, the witch, the old woman, the sage. The Crone has seen it all. Nothing frightens or surprises her. She is the final manifestation. Let me set this up so you can see it. She is the final manifestation in the feminine trifecta of Maiden Mother Crone. In her long life, she's witnessed endless cycles of death, sex, failure, rebirth, conflict, and regeneration, giving her the ability to rise above the world of duality. She laughs at notions of good or bad, right or wrong, as she has seen the earth churning, smoldering, taking life, and giving life. The Crone energy accepts everything in, devouring beauty and suffering with the same mouth, using their energy to reveal hidden secrets and knowledge. Her energy resides in all of us, though it is feared by most for its power and unconventional relationship with death and the macabre. Awakening the Crone is dangerously rich and unapologetically magic. So I think that's what's really coming through is the Crone. I am shocked. Honestly, I am shocked that it came out of the deck. So I think it's really just a celebration. This week is definitely about the Crone energy. So if you want to learn more about Crone, look at, might want to study Dumavati. I believe these are goddesses. Dumavati, Hecate, Baba Yaga, and Lilith. The Crone is the master of letting go and residing in what is. She rejects nothing. The Crone is often seen with the crow, smoke, night, and the moon. Wow. Wow. So, and you can see here that there's a crow in this hand with some sort of medallion, a coin. Wow, guys. So the Crone has a difficult time tolerating superficial, petty day-to-day musings, and it looks like that is what is in the past here with the Crone, is this, this cycle of regeneration, this cycle, like understands the cycle, right? But to end on the moon here is quite telling that we need to really look at Crone energy. Like I don't know if you all have seen um, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez's speech the other day in regards to how she was basically called out of her name by another quote unquote, um, you know, I won't even say his name, uh, but she addressed him so succinctly and so poignantly that I believe that was kind of that was just the beginning of the Crone energy making its reappearance, and it was so beautiful to see her dress him down. I mean, like, boom, she just, ooh, it was so good. I'm gonna link to it. I know most people, yeah, political, but at the same time, she really was talking about how women are treated in this patriarchal, like illogical patriarchal society at this point. It's very illogical. And she faced it. She faced it head on, no apologies. None whatsoever, because none were needed. And this is what the patriarchy has feared. This is what the patriarchy has, tried to instill in both men and women. So we need to definitely look internally and awaken that crone energy and take it forward with us as we change the world around us. Because the feminine is awakening in this part of the year into crone. And of course, this is um, and when I talk about Lamas, as far as that crone energy, um, of course that is, I think it's different on the southern and northern hemisphere, but what we do now has a ripple effect. So yeah, thank you for joining me today. Hopefully I can get these two videos merged and get it out on YouTube. But yeah, thank you so much. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week with more on the astrology and nature of the moon. But this really brought up very heavy crone energy for me, so I was very happy to talk about it and very happy that the crone appeared in this reading. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful week.